For nearly 6 decades, Ed Asner has been bringing us laughs and smiles, as well as some remarkably solid dramatic performances as well. He's truly a versatile performer. You might remember him first from the Mary Tyler Moore Show as Lou Grant, a role that would lead to a critically acclaimed eponymous spinoff series, or you might have seen his work more recently in the Pixar film Up as the voice of Carl Fredricksen. He's a prolific actor, outspoken political activist, talented voice actor, and at one point he was even president of the Screen Actors Guild. His career has been unrelenting for over a half-century. It's unknown whether he'll ever retire. Even now that he's a nonagenarian, he constantly lends his voice and likeness to a variety of projects. Asner is a highly opinionated man. He's not afraid to stand up for causes he believes in, even if they cost him a few opportunities along the way. And as it turns out, Lou Grant was canceled for this very reason. So stick around to see what made producers decide to renew the show despite it being a highly viewed and critically applauded show at the time. Before we get to that, let's see how Ed got to where he is today. Early years. He was born Yitzhak Edward Asner on November 15, 1929, which means as of 2020, he's 90 years old. His parents were both Orthodox Jewish immigrants from Russia. Asner grew up in Kansas City, Missouri, before moving to Chicago to study at the University of Chicago. He's a hard worker. Before he got involved with acting, he worked as an assembly line worker for General Motors. It was there he developed a strong sense of work ethic and learned to sympathize with America's laborers. This kindred connection with the working class would help mold his worldview and ideals for years to come. He was highly influential in Chicago's improv scene. Chicago is well known to be a city that hosts an incredible improv scene. Some of the world's top comedians hail from the Windy City. Asner was one of the very first performers to come out of Chi-Town. After he served in the military, he linked up with some folks at the Playwrights Theater Club. That collective would later evolve into the Compass Players, which in turn became the Second City. Second City is one of the most influential improv comedy groups in the world. Other notable Second City stars include Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Amy Poehler, and John Belushi. He's a record holder. Asner has the record for being the male actor to win the most Primetime Emmy awards for acting. All in all, he's taken home 7 Emmys for his acting, 5 of which he earned for Lou Grant. He's currently tied for second overall with actresses Allison Janney, Julie Louis-Dreyfus, and Mary Tyler Moore, all of whom also have 7. At 8, actress Cloris Leachman has the most Primetime Emmy awards. She's been nominated for 22, which is also a record. He's a very versatile actor. He's one heck of a comedian, but he's also very capable of taking on really dramatic roles. He's actually the only actor to ever land a Primetime Emmy for comedy and drama for the same role. Asner earned himself that nifty little bit of recognition for Lou Grant. One of those Emmys he earned for playing the character comedically on the Mary Tyler Moore Show, and the other was for the dramatic portrayal in the spin-off series he also starred in. He was in Roots. A couple months before the Mary Tyler Moore Show came to a close, he played Captain Thomas Davies in the historical miniseries Roots. The vessel he manned was the Lord Ligonier, a slave ship built in New England that unloaded slaves in Annapolis, Maryland. For his role, he earned one of his 7 Emmys for Outstanding Single Performance by a Supporting Actor. He was president of the Screen Actors Guild. He served the union from 1981 to 85. When he was elected, there was a bit of a controversy around what some perceived as his lack of experience for the position. During his 2 terms, he used his position to push his political agenda. He opposed U.S. foreign policy in Central America and worked alongside the Alliance for Survival. He also played a very prominent role in the 1980 Screen Actors Guild writer's strike. He's very political. Asner is very left-leaning when it comes to his personal politics. He's a member of the Democratic Socialists of America and is a strong proponent of universal health care. He's been an active player in establishing California One Care and has routinely endorsed Democratic presidential candidates over the years. When Lou Grant was canceled in 1982, it came as a surprise to fans. The show had been enjoying exceptionally high ratings that would have justified renewal. Critically speaking, it was repeatedly awarded with accolades and recognition. Asner personally believes CBS canceled the show because of his left-wing political views and the publicity his views were creating. Controversially, when he was president of the Screen Actors Guild, he had presented communist guerrilla fighters in El Salvador with a $25,000 check for medical aid, while the group was fighting the U.S.-backed capitalist dictatorship. Accusations that Asner is a communist or communist sympathizer have followed him his entire life. Not to get sidetracked, but if you're enjoying this video so far, hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Tap the bell icon to turn on notifications so you can keep up with all our latest video releases. And be sure to stick around to see how many shows and movies Ed has been in over the years. We're guessing you're going to be pretty shocked to see just how many projects he's worked on. It's nuts. Speaking of nuts, Ed's a 9/11 truther. In 2004, Asner signed a statement by an organization called 9/11 Truth that calls for a new investigation of the events that unfolded during the September 11th terrorist attacks. Asner reaffirmed this viewpoint and his support of the statement in 2009. He's also teamed up with the groups 9/11 Visibility Project and the Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth to continue to bring awareness to what he sees as a massive conspiracy involving the controlled demolition of the Twin Towers. He believes the attacks to be an inside job. He played Santa several times. Kids these days might recognize Asner as Santa Claus from the 2003 comedy Elf. He reprised that role in 2014 for the television special Elf, Buddy's Musical Christmas. In total, he's played the jolly old guy 5 times. He first put on the red suit in 1986 in Highway to Heaven, then The Story of Santa Claus in 96. He played St. Nick in Olive, the Other Reindeer in 1999, and went on The Ellen Show as Kris Kringle in 2001. He was Carl in Up. Did you cry like a baby the first time you saw Up, or was that just us? Don't worry, we won't tell. Asner played the voice of Carl, a grumpy elderly widower who decides to take his little house to the sky and fly away by tying thousands of balloons to it. By the way, Up currently has 98% on Rotten Tomatoes. Very few films can claim that. Ed's really into charity work. Asner sits on the entertainment board of directors for a group called the Survivor Mitzvah Project. The organization helps elderly and impoverished Holocaust survivors in Eastern Europe with financial and medical assistance. He also serves as an advisor for the Rosenberg Fund for Children, which provides benefits for the children of political activists. Additionally, he serves on the board of the organization Defenders of Wildlife, a wildlife conservation nonprofit. He's also an advocate and supporter for a Tucson-based group called Humane Borders, which has set up and maintained water stations in the middle of the Sonoran Desert to make sure undocumented immigrants attempting to make it to America don't die of dehydration and exposure. He's been on both the original Hawaii Five-0 and the remake. Asner guest starred on the original series in 1975 in the Season 8 episode Wooden Model of a Rat. In 2012, he appeared on the remake series in Season 3 episode Kanalua. In both episodes, Ed Asner played a character by the name August March. 5-0 turns to March in hopes he can help them discover who a band of art thieves are that have recently engaged in a kidnapping. Spoiler alert, it turns out March was involved in the crime ring the whole time. Prolific doesn't even cut it. The actor has starred in or voice acted in over 150 TV shows. Even though he's in his 90s now, he's still showing no signs of tiring out. In 2020, he's already starred in 4 TV shows, including Blue Bloods, Modern Family, and Briar Patch. He has a film coming up, too. He provided the voice for Edward Everett in the historical film The Gettysburg Address. It doesn't look like he has any plans to slow down. Acting's in his blood, just as activism and politics are. Even if you disagree with his controversial views, it's clear he's a passionate man who puts a whole lot of his heart and soul into his work. Here we are once again at the end of another video. Ed Asner sure has a pretty impressive career. Not many actors can claim to have been on as many shows and movies as he has. Which version of Lou Grant did you like best? The version in Mary Tyler Moore Show or the one in the spinoff series? Let us know what you think in the comments section. And before you move on, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to our channel. Tap the bell icon to turn on notifications to keep up with all our latest content.